Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you new here, my name is Allie and today I am building out some arrows. Hunting season is quickly approaching. I have already built out my whitetail setup, but I have not yet built out my elk hunting setup, which is what we are doing today. I will also be putting together some grouse arrows because I don't want to use my expensive arrows on grouse if I don't have to, although I will, because I do love grouse that much. There are so many bugs around here. Let's get these arrows together and have a little fun. Yahoo! So let me introduce you to these arrows. I tried to build these arrows out a while ago and I actually made a video about it. And I had this great plan of increasing my front of center, so I bought heavier inserts. And it turns out that the overall weight of my arrow was going to be about the same of my full metal jacket. And my intention was to slightly decrease the overall weight while increasing the front of center because I don't shoot a high poundage. So I always struggle with this word, trajectory of my arrow with a lower poundage bow it's not gonna fly as flat as it would if I was a big burly male shooting 80 pounds. It's going to have this kind of arc to it. So I need a slightly lighter arrow so that it flies a little bit faster, but it can't be too light because if it's too light, I won't have the penetration that I need as a hunter. So I want to increase my front of center for slightly better penetration, going with a lighter arrow than my full metal jacket. Although this Easton Axis is still a relatively heavy arrow as far as carbon arrows go. It has a small diameter, so it's going to be less affected by wind downrange if I take a 40-yard shot, 50-yard shot at an elk, for example. So there's a lot going on. First step in setting these puppies up is cutting them to the proper length. Okay, so all I'll need you to do is hold it down. Just need to set it at we have 6 absolutely beautiful arrows. Next step is to square them. So I bought this little arrow squaring tool. This will be my first time using it, obviously, opening it up fresh. I bought this for 2 reasons. One, I thought it was really clever because you can insert it into a drill bit. I think that's pretty clever. Also, because it was half of the price of all of the other arrow squaring tools. So, thought that was great too. So let's see, maybe, do I need instructions? No. This is just the arrow squaring tool by Carbon Express. And a couple of the reviews that people left said that they also have used this just by hand. That looks pretty good. Some folks use a silver Sharpie and they'll draw a ring around the bottom and then they'll square it. That way you can tell that you have done enough. I don't have a silver Sharpie on me. I'm just kind of winging this right now. So the reason why, this is actually working seemingly very well. The reason why I feel like I can get away with just holding this on the table and rubbing it like so is because it has this internal piece that goes inside. So there's really no wiggle room for the arrow to be anything but perfectly square, if that makes sense. Doing about 10 turns each time. I don't even think you need to put this into a drill bit. If you're trying to be super precise, this probably isn't the tool for you, but for most everyday bow hunters, I think this is just fine. I do not consider myself a pro, by the way, so in case you thought I was a pro, I'm not. Beautiful. Just like that. Okay, arrows are squared. Next thing, I'm going to use a little bit of alcohol and clean out the inside of these arrows. Cool. While those dry, I'm going to prep my grouse arrows. So I have a bunch of old arrows from years past. These were my first arrows ever. And you can see they're so nasty and beat up. These are the Easton Carbon Raider Platinums. These I used, I think, my second season. And I used them for a while, actually. These are the Beeman ICS Indigos. They're also a carbon arrow. Let me see, what's the GPI on this? No, I don't see it. How are they in terms of? This Carbon Raider is super long. I'm gonna do a quick little weight check to see which weighs more, because I want it to be as close as possible to my Easton Axis arrows. It's not going to be the same. These are definitely going to be lighter, but if I can choose the arrow that's a little bit heavier, you know, then that's a good thing. Not touching anything. These are 261.8. And this guy is 315.6. So the Raiders are the winner. Just to dress these up a little bit, again, these are just my grouse arrows. Not that big of a deal. Don't have to be perfect. I am going to remove these old fletchings and just give them a fresh fletch. So I have a butter knife. This is my favorite way to remove old fletchings, just because butter knives are nice and dull, just like that. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grouse arrows. There is a ton of residue left on the ends of these arrows. I'm going to do my best to clean it off with some alcohol, and then we will get these things fletched. Oh, that actually is working phenomenally. Wow. Yep, that's all it took. Little alcohol, little rubbing, good to go. While I'm at it, I'm also going to prep the ends of my Easton Axis arrows just by cleaning them with a little alcohol as well. That will ensure that my wraps stick flawlessly. These are the 3 options that I am choosing from for vanes. I'm going with a quick fletch. It will be so fast and easy, and I don't really have a lot of time before the season starts. At some point, I would love to play around with configurations. I actually bought some new fletching tools so that I can eventually mess around with fletching configurations. But for the sake of getting this done quick and effective, these are going to be perfect, absolutely perfect. I've got water on the pot boiling, it's heating up. Once it comes to a boil, we'll actually be able to put these on. But I do want to weigh these and see what they weigh, what the weight differences are. They're all a 2-inch vane. All right, this one's coming in at about 35. Interesting. This guy's coming in at about 30. This guy's coming in at about 29. Because these Hellfires are a little bit heavier, I'm going to use it on my Axis arrows simply because I think that it will better stabilize my fixed blade broadhead, which, yes, are these guys right here. This is the fixed blade that I will be using. So I think this will help stabilize that well. Then I'll throw these guys on my grouse arrows, just because. So let's go get to fletching. All right. I'm in the kitchen. I've got my pot of water boiling. All you have to do for these quick fletches, after you clean your arrow shaft, you slide them on like so. Line it up with the end of the shaft. You just submerge it completely in the boiling water, pull it out, and you are fletched and ready to go. Easiest, quickest solution possible when it comes to fletching. Let's do this. The spoon is just helping me cover the end with hot water because I don't have a deep enough pot. This is saving me so much time. I am so thankful that there's something like this available. Look at that, perfect every time. This doesn't get you excited about elk season. Ooh, I don't know what will. Okay, last one. So fucking cool. Okay, turn that off. So now the final step in my arrow build is to glue in my inserts. So I have these 75 grain inserts. They're not going to be 75 though. This last little portion can break off and then they turn into 50 grain inserts, which is still a lot. The typical inserts that come with the arrow are 16 grains. So I am doubling it plus a little bit with a 50 grain insert, but that's what I want. I want a slightly higher front of center. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go full force, just do it. Fingers crossed that this works out. I do have 6 more arrows in case I absolutely hate it and I want to redo them. So now I'm going to weigh out each component, weigh out each arrow, and then match them accordingly to try and get these arrows as equal in weight as possible. This is not a necessary step if you're just the everyday archer. This is like a little extra. But for those of you who are looking to come as close to perfection as you can, this would be a necessary step for you. So let's turn this sucker on. We need 6 of these. Ugh. Oh my God. How do I break these? Oh my God, in my head, I thought you just, do I have to like clip them? Oh no, maybe I have to saw it? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Do I need a sawzall? Sawzall? How to break Easton. Nick just helped me cut all of these down. He just used a pair of like shears, some heavy duty shears, and we now have 50 grain inserts. In theory, they all probably weigh just slightly different amounts. So I'm going to weigh out each insert, weigh out each arrow, and then combine them in a way that makes the arrows as close to the same weight as possible. That's the goal. Now I'm using a 2-part epoxy. I need to chamfer each. I've matched them up by weight. Now we're ready to go. So take our arrow, take the insert. You wanna just get a little bit on the end of that, not too much. As we insert, we twist, 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 twist until we're pretty much flush. Take this piece, going to twist and plunge it down, just like that. Voila, next. And just like that, our arrows are complete. Woo, baby. They are beautiful. So the whole idea is that they have a heavier front of center, which they definitely do. I can feel it. Let's get a final arrow weight. Woohoo! Look at that. It is reading 345.6. Wow. That's awesome. So the final weight on these arrows is just around 345. I'm super happy with that. It has more weight on the front of the arrow, which again is going to lead to a bigger punch, a bigger impact. And overall, I really hope these fly well out of my bow because I don't have much time to mess around with it from here. But if you want to see how they shoot, that will be in a different video. You can go check that out if you want to continue to follow this journey. And otherwise, you will see me elk hunting here in just a couple of weeks. Probably as you're watching this video, I will be out there elk hunting. So I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing start to your hunting season. I'm so excited. This is awesome. Literally the best time of the year is upon us. So enjoy every single second, take it all in, and I will see you guys in the next one.